This is Euonymus japonicus Microphyllus, boxleaf euonymus, and it is an evergreen shrub. It is hardy down to around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, and it's a nice compact evergreen shrub. It also has some hybrids. Here you see butterscotch, and the next one is Microphyllus variegata, and it has this white variegation, but you'll also notice that it has a lot of leaves reverting to the original green color. So I'm not a huge fan of this one. I think it's an interesting idea, but it looks a bit messy for my taste. So this is a good box leaf substitute. One of the things about it is how dark green the foliage is. I really love that about this plant, and it has a kind of a semi-formal feel to it when it's pruned tight. Here you're just looking at a grouping of these, and you can see how big they can get. They actually get about 2 feet by 2 feet as they mature, but those, see how compact those are, and this one's grown out and gotten a little larger. So the way I use these is predominantly when I need some dark green structure plant that of a smaller size, 18 inches to 2 feet. This is one that I use. I also use it when I would otherwise use a boxwood, because I like the darker green color of the plant. And in design, that's really the main thing I use them for. A lot of people think these stay smaller, but as you can see, they can get 2 feet wide and 2 feet tall. And also the way you prune them will have a bearing on how tight they are. This is one that hasn't been touched at all, apparently, and you can see how it gets a little gangly. So a little easy pruning will tighten that up, like you see in these plants over here. So good contrast plant with other colored foliages, because the dark green is so intense. This looks great next to Euonymus sunset gold and other variegated foliages. Excuse me. It also looks good to different flower color next to different flower colors, because it really helps those colors come out and pop. So in terms of euonymus, they're kind of known for getting mildew. I don't see that really happening to this plant. I avoid most euonymus because of the mildew issue, but this one I have not had that experience. So I think this is a lot safer than some of the others, and a really great, very useful evergreen, long-lived shrub. In deer areas, these are partially they're mostly deer resistant, but then I will say that in some areas I've had deer go after them. So I'd say if you want to use it, give it a try, but you try 1 or 2 before you start buying a bunch of them. And then in terms of water, I'd say regular water. Although these are established on drip irrigation like you see here, but you also see how much inconsistency there is in the plants and how well they're doing. So I would say regular to semi-regular water is probably what these want. Having that kind of leathery small leaf, though, keeps them from losing a lot of moisture. So they're pretty low water once they're established, but I'd say get them established before you start reining in the water. These can be grown in some shade or full sun. I typically am using them in full sun, but they're flexible in that regard. This area you're looking at here is mostly protected from the sun by this fence, so and they're doing just fine. So as a design element, a nice substitute for boxwood where you want some structure but you may not want it so rigid, and also as some evergreen structure to play other colors off of and have something kind of quiet there. Good foundation plant and a good boxwood substitute. And that's what I can tell you about Euonymus japonicus Microphyllus, boxleaf euonymus.